Hey, I got a little free time today, so why not take care of a Jace Hubbard episode? This one being JH Vice Principal, episode 18. Done for. Been meaning to get to this one for a while, so I got a bit of a free spot today. Might as well, why not? Just surprised this on Jace out of nowhere, because even I wasn't expecting to do this, but you know, why not? He's not going to complain. Well, he might, but you know, whatever. November 13th, 2024. The day before the Earth froze. Wait, no.
You did the right thing by coming to me straight away, Miss Perez. So Tiffany confronted you face to face as you were leaving.
That's correct, Vice Principal Hubbard.
Now one of her better ideas.
She was pissed all because she overheard me and Lucas talking to each other in the auditorium. I stood my ground and wasn't afraid to stick up to her.
Well, you did the right thing by coming to me.
Before she left, she did tell me that I was going to get what's coming to me.
Probably as
obviously a threat.
You. Unfortunately, that kind of behavior from Tiffany isn't all that surprising to me.
Oh, she has a habit of doing this.
I'm proud of you for sticking up for yourself. The old Phoebe that I first met and got to know probably wouldn't have been able to do it.
True. But she's changed over the years.
I'll get into contact with Tiffany's mom and dad, and see when they'll be available for an in-person meeting.
Have a parent-teacher conference.
Phoebe, I would advise staying out of Tiffany's way as best as you can. And when you're talking or chatting with Lucas here at school, you both must be very, very careful. You understand?
Yes, Vice Principal Hubbard, I do.
It's not like we were doing anything bad or anything like that, but just having a conversation like two people do. Oh, gee, change of outfit. What?
It's taken a couple months to find a suit of the day, but we're finally getting to the matter at hand.
Finally. Despite keeping out of Tiffany's way,
although
in
January, then again, this takes place in
trouble.
California, so they don't know what winter is.
We're hoping for the best outcome.
That was a joke.
Me and Principal Moonlight will do what we can to sort out the matter during this meeting with Tiffany and her parents. Tomorrow, we're going to hope to put an end to this.
You've come through for Phoebe before many times, Vice Principal Hubbard. You've done it before and you can do it again.
I really hope so, Cassandra. I really hope so.
You seem unsure of yourself, Vice Principal Hubbard.
Yes, I am feeling that way. Forgive me for that. Lately, Principal Moonlight and I have just been at really bad odds with each other. I'd explain more and go into detail, but it's complicated.
Complicated
not really
or
any
not,
of your business.
you two are supposed to be a team. Regardless, if you two are at odds with each other. But between both of you, you're at least down to earth and willing to listen as best as you can, while also showing levels of compassion.
Yeah. I don't have any arguments there.
Vice Principal Hubbard. People like you should keep doing their best to keep doing the right thing. In the end, a good heart always wins.
Thank you, Cassandra. I'll keep that in mind.
Jace, get in my office right now. You and I need to have a talk about tomorrow.
Oh boy.
Phoebe and Cassandra, why don't you two start heading to class? First period's about to start soon.
Well, hopefully it goes well, you know.
About time you got in here.
What's with your attitude?
You want to run that by me again?
I said save it. You called me in here to discuss tomorrow's plans, so let's keep it that way.
Yeah, I did, but yet you stand here trying to start stuff with me and get me mad. You just can't.
You threw the
right or say correct things to me.
Stop it, Mimi. I'm not going to stand here and pointlessly argue with you.
You're the one who needs to stop it, Jace. Now shut up and listen to me. So as we
don't you
know,
love your bosses?
Tomorrow Tiffany's parents are coming to the school to have an in-person meeting regarding their daughter. I'm so fed up with Tiffany's crap, and that's why I plan to make sure I give her parents a real piece of my mind. And if they don't make their daughter shape up, I'll have Tiffany suspended.
Now just hold it, Mimi.
If you're not going to agree with me on this with how this meeting is going to go, then you can just stay out of the way and let me do things the way I'm going to do it.
I have to have a word in this.
Do you even hear yourself right now? Your plan has disaster written all over it.
Explain it to me then why you think it's a disaster.
Because this will fuel her
Because your
revenge even
idea is
more.
the wrong way. You think it's right, but I have that inner gut feeling inside me that your way could backfire if we are not careful.
That's
didn't
your
explain
point,
how.
Jace. That's how you view it. Tiffany's parents need to understand that I will not tolerate their daughter's disrespect here at Moonlight High School. I'll get
Taking
tough
on the
and
parents
strict
will
with them
fix
if I have
things.
to. You need to understand that my way is what goes. You are supposed to agree with me.
I
Not
can't
unconditionally.
agree with you on everything. That's
I'm not
just
supposed to be a
how this
yes man.
works.
Of course you can't agree with me on everything. I mean, you clearly don't have my back on this. Wow, and I thought we were supposed to be a team here.
We are.
Bitch.
Well then show it and prove it to me then, Jace. And next time maybe instead of back talking to me, you could instead say something on the lines of, I'm so sorry Mimi, I'm sorry that this is troubling you and I don't blame you at all. And I don't want to fight about it because it'll make you even more upset, and then lash out.
Well, I agree with the second part of that sentence. The first
27
part, not so
years
much.
old, and yet whenever I've tried to talk with you, it almost feels like listening to nails on a chalkboard.
That's enough.
That's just the
Get out
AI
of my
voice.
office, unless you want to push it further, and then I'll have more of a reason to have you fired.
I've taken big risks, I've put in sacrifices, I've done a lot of good trying to stick up and be there for you, and this is the thanks I get. You're not the same Mimi that I first got to know and befriend. You've really started changing for the worse. You clearly focus on so many negatives, as well as things from the
Don't
past
worry,
you
she'll just
can't
say
seem to
that
let
she
go of.
changed and then doesn't
You
change.
wanted to push it with me, and now you're really accomplishing it.
I'm just stating things from my point of view. That's all.
Get out, now.
No.
Next time, keep your fucking mouth shut if you don't want to piss me off.
How about you control your goddamn temper yourself?
Jessica, I can't do this anymore.
I'm going back to Tyndale Tide. People liked
And
me
I'm really
there.
Sorry.
It had Samir. Everybody loves
Might be for
Samir.
the best if you and I start looking for new jobs, to get away from all this toxicity.
Is that really what you want us to do?
I don't
It
know.
would be the easy way out of this. But in truth, it doesn't feel right.
Because it isn't. You and Mimi's friendship aside, the only responsible move is to stand by what you truly think is right. It's the logical move. It's the safest move. It's the sensible move. And it's the Jace move. You trust people. You often try to see the good in many of them, give them the benefit of the doubt once you have an understanding to work with. You've risked your own neck so many times for Mimi, you've been a good friend for her a dozen times over.
And this is the
And look
thanks
where
you get.
that's gotten
Yeah.
me.
You've done fine. You have a generous heart that just defines part of who you are. Remember
Well, she
what
stopped the
Cassandra
Paxton
said to you
fiasco.
earlier, when she and Phoebe were here in the office. She said to you, to keep trying to do the right thing. Because in the end a good heart always wins.
Then I know what I have to do.
I must collect all 7 Chaos Emeralds and... Wait. Hello, welcome to the first episode of JH Vice Principal.
Good morning, Tiffany. And a hello to you, Mrs. Valen.
Not gonna
To you
lie,
as
for a
well,
second I forgot what
Principal
Tiffany looked like, and I'm
Apologies
like, her
for all
parents
this
are
delay.
lesbians?
There were not many
Wait.
openings available. in my
Like,
work
wait, no,
schedule.
that's Tiffany.
Perhaps, but it should not have taken this long. I've been wanting this meeting to happen for at least 2 months to discuss your daughter's behavior here at school.
As I have already mentioned beforehand, Principal Moonlight, there were not many openings in my schedule. Therefore, I could not simply just come in right away to have this meeting. Same thing can apply to my husband. He's got his own very busy schedule as well.
Where is your husband
Where have I
anyway? I specifically wanted both you and him
Where
here
have I
for
seen
this
this sort
meeting.
of situation before? Oh
My
yeah,
husband
Angelica
didn't leave the house
Pickles.
yet for it, but he said he needed to tend to a separate matter. He will be joining us later.
burying
Did
the
he give you a
bodies.
time for when he'll be here?
I left the house with Tiffany before I had a chance to ask him.
Well,
So,
I'm
no.
not waiting until he gets here to have this meeting, Mrs. Valen. So
Yeah, if
we'll
this is
just
our only
have to
opportunity,
start
we'll
without
have to
him.
do it.
I would like you and your daughter to please come with me to my office.
Yeah, I was about to be
Vice
like, are we gonna do
Principal
this in the
Hubbard here will
hallway?
not be
No.
joining us.
Doesn't he at least get a saying in this?
No, he does not, because he clearly needs to learn a thing or two despite working here for almost 3 years. If he wants to test me, he's more than welcome to.
So you're just gonna have that
Nope,
animosity
I'm
out in
not.
the open?
Smart decision. Tiffany and Mrs. Valen, please follow me.
The sad thing is, I have been working here for 3 years, and I'm well adept
This is
to your
ridiculous.
kind of behavior.
Vice Principal Hubbard, you could have spoken up at any time, but yet you didn't.
Why
Does
bother?
Principal Moonlight always treat you with such disrespect?
More or less.
Sadly, Mrs. Valen, yes.
Not all the
As you
time,
know,
no,
Principal
but
Moonlight is always tough and strict with others. But she rarely does it with those who work with her, including me.
I won't deny being tough and strict is necessary a lot of the time, but to make you feel kicked down, not be able to input or add on to the situation, and not have a voice, I'm sorry you had to deal with that mistreatment.
I'm used to it at this point.
So then
it
why do
says
you
something
work
when
for someone
Tiffany's
like
mother's having a heart-to-heart about this.
Because when I first started
apple
working
didn't fall
here
from the
years
tree.
back, I stood by what I thought was the right thing to do.
Excuse me. I'm looking for Vice Principal Hubbard.
Hi, that's me.
That would be me, sir.
Wait, Nora?
Flynn, what are you doing here?
I was
What?
going to ask you the same thing. Remember I had told you that I had made a last-minute appointment this morning with a concerned vice principal at one of the Tyndale Valley high schools, before I came to meet you at Tiffany's own high school for that important meeting we both were to attend.
Flynn, this is Tiffany's high school. You've just been really busy with work that you haven't had a chance to see the high school for yourself.
You're telling me that Tiffany's high school for that meeting we both were to attend is the same high school that I had to go to for my own meeting with Mr. Vice Principal Hubbard this morning?
What
Wait a second,
are
wait
the
a
odds?
Sir, you're Tiffany's father? You're the one who I messaged directly the other day through email to voice my concerns?
Yes, it would seem so.
We can have
This certainly
individual
wasn't how I
meetings.
expected things to go. I apologize for emailing you on such short notice about my concerns, Superintendent.
Ooh!
Something I can overlook, Vice Principal Hubbard.
Well, I'll leave you to be to
Oh
talk. I
no!
need to catch up with Tiffany and Principal Moonlight.
Oh no! No!
Now, Vice Principal Hubbard, you know that you could be facing disciplinary action for a false report if any of the harassment or mistreatment claims are deemed untrue.
Yes, Superintendent.
That was a bomb
Fully
drop
aware
moment,
and
Jace. Well
understand
done,
the
just like
consequences.
Superintendent. Oh
I'm
no!
going to cut straight to the matter, that I have not felt safe here at Moonlight High School, because of one certain individual, who lately has been treating me very unfairly and poorly, which is starting to get way out of hand. There are many students and staff who also have voiced their own concerns about this.
Tell me everything.
Let me start from day one. Okay, maybe not
Now,
everything.
Tiffany, we all know why you are here. You've been an
I have a theory that this is
absolute
going to go the way
headache
that
at school.
Principal
Can I ask how I've
Moonlight
been
is
a
going to
headache for you,
be
Principal Moonlight?
fired. Then
If I'm not
Jace will be in
mistaken,
charge of this
it's
principal.
Vice Principal
Realize he
Hubbard
can't
who's
do
dealt
it
with me
himself,
more than
and then get
That's
Mimi
bullshit.
back into
You know
office,
it,
essentially.
It's not bullshit.
That's a prediction. I don't know
Only
for
time
sure.
you've
I'm
ever
just
had
making
to deal with me was
predictions.
when I've had to serve after school detention on more than one occasion. And whenever I have actually ended up in the principal's office, Vice Principal Hubbard is the one I've talked to.
Don't ever mention him around me again during this meeting, Tiffany. You are talking to me right now and me alone.
Principal Moonlight, I do not know what your problem is with Vice Principal Hubbard, but I honestly
with all the
can't believe
animosity?
you treat him with such disrespect.
Oh, trust me, Mrs. Valen, if you actually saw me and Vice Principal Hubbard working together, then you'd understand why I've treated him the way I have. He's the
No,
one
I've
who
seen you
messes
two
up
working-
and doesn't know how to fix it. He's the root of the problem.
Then fire
He's the root
him.
of the problem?
If you have a
I
problem
think
with
you're the
them,
root of the
fire
problem
him.
and just deflecting blame.
You want to run that by me again, Mrs. Valen?
You heard exactly what I said, Principal Moonlight. I work full-time as a therapist, and I've had many different kinds of clients over my 5+ years working in that field. And I can tell you right now that I've seen this kind of behavior before with previous clients of mine during therapy sessions with them.
I didn't
Are
have
you
to be
trying
shrunk.
compare me with therapy clients that I don't know?
I am. You exhibit similar behavior to most of them that I've talked to. Defensive behavior, short fuses, quick to kick people down, thinking everything must go their way. I've seen it all before hundreds and hundreds of times. And when you combine all of those things together into one person, it's a toxic combination.
Well, being tough and strict is necessary to run my high school, Mrs. Valen. I'm tough and strict for a reason, because of various events from my past that happened years ago. If others can't accept me for yelling and getting tough and strict with them, then that's their problem.
If various
How's
events
it their
from your
problem that
past
you're
gave you
causing problems?
and those problems continue to give you issues in the present-day Principal Moonlight, then maybe you need to try seeking professional help to help deal with those past demons.
Already tried that and it didn't work.
Of course it didn't work.
Because you didn't
You gave
try.
up too quickly and pushed others away who tried helping you. I assume that Vice Principal Hubbard was one of them.
If either of you two mention that name one more fucking time to
You
make
threatened
me
that already,
even more
didn't work.
frustrated, this meeting will not just be over, but Tiffany will be getting suspended for her behavior.
That's bullshit.
It is.
I shouldn't get suspended for your anger issue
The
towards
harsh-
someone else.
A harsh
Then
tone
stop
is
mentioning
necessary,
Vice
of course, at
Principal
times.
Hubbard,
Everyone agrees
and
with
then
that
we'll
point of view.
proceed to
But
discuss
you're a
what
little
has to
extreme
change
with it.
Tiffany going forward.
No, I don't think so. Tiffany, you and I are leaving, and we're going to discuss this matter with Vice Principal Hubbard.
That's not up to you to decide.
Oh, you
Mrs.
said the name.
I'm
Better
the
suspend
one
her.
who's running this meeting.
You were running this meeting, Principal Moonlight, not anymore. You
Running it
barely
into
got
the
off
ground. Yeah.
I will not stand by a poorly made decision that results in Tiffany getting suspended on the spot without actually having a proper meeting discussion about her behavior. I will make sure that my husband knows about this.
Go ahead and tell your husband about me then, Mrs. Valen. I will be ready to talk with him.
Enough.
My husband's a superintendent, by the way. The what?
I have heard enough.
I take it that you are Mr. Valen?
Yes, you are correct.
I'm glad you've finally shown up.
Oh,
This meeting
no.
has already spiraled down because of the actions of...
Miss Moonlight, you would be wise to stop now, and
Yet-
watch how you speak to me.
Oh, is that so? And just
Mimi,
what
no.
you yourself
Stop.
right to speak to me in that manner, Mr. Valen? If you are not careful, I'll gladly have you removed by the security team.
I never had a chance to properly introduce myself yet. Flynn Velen, and I'm more known in Tyndall for my job as Superintendent.
Yeah.
Principal Moonlight, your tough and strict principal.
How do you not know he's a superintendent?
And those who break the rules, but you never.
I know who
be
my boss
disrespectful
is.
To a superintendent, and I could not believe what I was hearing from your own vice.
Like, even if you don't know every
emailed
boss,
me
like your
voicing his
boss's
concerns.
bosses are like that, you probably at least
Mistreatment
hear the
of someone
name.
who's worked alongside you for years, kicking him down and making him feel unsafe in his own work environment. That is highly unprofessional.
Highly unprofessional? Superintendent, with all due respect, you need to understand...
You already
that
gave
I'm
up the
tough and
respect the moment he
strict
walked
all
through the
the time
door.
With people, even with somebody like my vice principal, especially if they really screwed up big time.
What was the screw
Everyone
up?
deserves to be treated fairly and equally, Principal Moonlight.
Got in
But
my
you
way.
will not get the same level of respect from others if you do not respect them back yourself. You can be quite certain I will be making a full report of your mistreatment to Vice Principal Hubbard, and your disrespectful attitude to the school board. Consider your principal days numbered.
Duh.
Because once the school board comes back to me after I submit a well-written report with plenty of evidence, you're fired.
Fired?
Yeah.
That's not happening, Superintendent.
Yes, it will.
You
especially
can't
when
fight
you're only
that.
digging yourself even further into more repercussions.
When your boss says you're
I can't
fired,
wait
that's
to
the end
see
of the
you
story.
fail.
It
And
ends.
then once I have the school board overrule your decision,
Like if it's for wrongful
Superintendent,
termination, of
you're the
course, then
one
you can
who's
have a
going
lawyer
to.
suit, but
You're
still.
unbelievable.
Oh wow, look who decided to come in here and make things.
You can
How
stop
am I making
talking
things
now.
worse? How?
Don't
Explain
think you
that
can
to me.
just come in here and tell me.
Me this, me that. It's always something about what you want. Those kinds
Me,
of
me, me,
words
me,
are
me,
the
me.
first things that have been coming out of that mouth.
Now the
ever
name
since you
being
really
me
started
makes
to push me
sense.
away. And to think, I did so much good out of my own generous heart to help you out. I started this job almost 3 years ago, because I was willing to extend my arm, to be helpful and fill in the missing gap you needed. From that point on, we really became a dream team of this school, helping students out with their problems, stopping fights and confrontations, facing trouble and misbehavior from many students and gave them proper discipline. Even before we met, we were good friends and well acquainted with each other. I even was willing to take a chance, and take a really big risk risking my own neck, just to defend you from many people in real life who had made you as their target. And what ended up happening thanks to my help? Those people backed off and left you alone. I did all of those things for my friend Mimi, the one I first got to know and really get close to. And now, look at what you've become.
You're yelling at the superintendent.
It's disgusting. Just look at yourself. You're a former shell of the girl I first got to know. Always so angry and so toxic, and all you see are the negatives that always come at you from every angle. Those negatives have all but taken away the former person you used to be, turning you into the person standing right in front of me. And why did those negatives take over? Because you want certain things that happened back then to result in an outcome that's best for what you want. Many of us can actually try and put the past behind us. But you, Mimi, you clearly hold on to the past because that's what you've allowed yourself to become, even with help from others. Your past issues, the inability to move on, you hold on to them, and this is exactly the kind of thing that would happen as a result of all that. All those negatives, all the self-doubt in yourself, all that frustration, and worst of all, not allow yourself to truly heal so that you could finally move forward. All of it has completely blackened your heart. You want everybody to like you. That was one of the things you've always told me. But let's be brutally honest, that's never going to happen, and it's all thanks to that blackened heart of yours, that will continue to darken, and it's also thanks to those constant negatives that remain a strong burden to you. The Mimi that I first got to know is who deserves to be Moonlight High School's principal. You're not her.
Damn.
You've taken away the former person who I extended my arm to, you selfish bitch. So I'm going to cooperate with the superintendent however I can, to make sure you're no longer in power here at Moonlight High School. I didn't even want to do all of this, but you brought this upon yourself. You've got much to learn, and hopefully, you'll learn it as soon as possible and learn to accept it, without just simply giving up and quitting on the spot. Letting out all of this anger and frustration is probably the hardest thing I ever had to do. And boy did it fucking hurt.
Damn, that was one hell of a speech, Jace. Even had the Meta Runner theme in the background to hype him up.
For everything.
But it's fitting.
Report me as well to the school board if that's what you need to do. It's probably for the best that I'm revoked of my position also.
You have a good heart, young man. At least you can take accountability and responsibility.
And apparently I don't accept responsibility because, I guess according to him, I'm a bad friend.
I got Byron just before I came here, and he's right outside the office door. So unless you want to be forcefully removed, stop.
Back to the topic at hand. Yes, I will have to mention you as well in my report to the school board Vice Principal Hubbard. But as I previously stated, you do take accountability and responsibility. You're also upfront and honest. Are you the kind of person who tries their best to keep doing the right thing?
Clearly.
Yeah, I guess I am, or at least I try to be. Good professional help is what this woman truly needs. That's the hard truth of the matter.
Yeah.
Until she actually gets said help to tackle her past demons, she's unfit to run this school in her position. If I was given a chance, I would run this high school in her place, and do the right thing to lead by example. Because in the end, a good heart always wins.
I see. Me and my wife would appreciate having a proper meeting about Tiffany's school behavior with you in your office, Vice Principal Hubbard, as well as your cooperation in regards to my report.
You can expect my full cooperation with both of those matters, Mr. Villan. Please excuse me.
Dad, I think he deserves a fair shot. I know you have to do your job and report directly to the school board, but you heard what Vice Principal Hubbard had said himself, if he was given a chance. I'm being legit. I think Vice Principal Hubbard should be given that chance as someone to take charge. Someone has to. Principal Moonlight needs to do her part and seek professional help to deal with her past.
Tiffany, could you kind of
The
do
verdict
that
will lie
too,
with the
though?
school board, but
You're still
perhaps a
threatening
recommendation
Phoebe.
for Vice Principal Hubbard to become principal wouldn't be such a bad thing.
Hey Jess.
This was
be
not a good
honest with
episode for
me about
Mimi.
Something. Do you think I did the right
Cold
thing
take.
by sticking by what I believed was the right thing to do?
With how that all went? Yeah, I think you did the right thing, contacting the superintendent and sticking up for yourself against Mimi. Anyone else that we know who knows you well enough, would probably agree with me too. She was good in the beginning to all of us in our circle. But now, it's time that we start cutting that toxic in our lives out. She is done for.
As a member of
Title
our friend
drop.
group, absolutely. And having her job as principal here, good chance she'll lose that as well, and won't get it back.
Probably, though we can't be certain.
She will have lost everything with us that she gained, until she actually puts in effort to seek out therapy and or professional help.
Hopefully her wife will still be with her at
She
least.
is affecting
She'll have
all
someone
of
to
us.
lean on.
Taking a step back away from her and all those negatives.
I don't want Mimi
is
left
for the
with
best.
nothing. I'm not a fan of her, obviously, but obviously she shouldn't be left with nothing. I think Jace easily would agree with that. Damn, that was one hell of an. Apologies. This weather sucks. I can't wait for it to be cold again, they say as I freeze to death. Okay, that's hyperbole, but I don't know. Dang, that was one heck of an episode, Jace. Really going for the emotional stuff, and yeah, Mimi showing her side of her absolute worst. She's clearly got some trauma or something from her life to be going through. Like, I do believe her when she says that she had problems in her past and all that jazz, and it affects who she is today. Because the past the past is what defines who you are today, but it doesn't have to stay that way. You are who you choose to be in the future. Or some metaphorical baloney like that, you know? You can't act like it's solely your past's fault. You can't use that card forever. At some point, when do you take responsibility? And Mimi does have a point where it's like, you know, sometimes you need to rule with an iron fist, and that's absolutely necessary. But you don't got to use that iron fist 24/7. Then you're just a dictator. And that's not what the school needs. They don't need to be living in fear all the time. That's not healthy. They need a life, you know, obviously. Mimi's ways are necessary sometimes, but not all the time. And this was absolutely not necessary. And I made myself clear, I'm not a Mimi fan, but like, damn, she was really dialed it up in this episode of how much of a biatch she is. I mean, I'm sure there's a reason, as I said before, but it's gonna be had to be a damn good reason. I don't even want to predict what it is, just because I don't know. Would Jason go into that? I don't know. But now, because of this, Jace may be the new principal of this school, so that'll be something. Jace, you got to change the name now. Now it's no longer JHVP, it's JHP, which sounds like a freaking medical degree or something like that. One thing I did like about the speech, though, that helped, it wasn't just the words, it wasn't just, like, the music in the background. It was also, like, the little animation bits. It's amazing how far we've come beyond, because I remember the early days where you had, like, limited animation, just, like, you know, pointing a bit, crossing your hands, stuff like that. Or most of the time with just static models. And now we basically have Jace doing full emotions throughout the thing. Yeah, there's things where he's just standing there, but just the fact that he's able to emote at all and, like, show some more stuff really shows how far we've come, both in Jace's own, like, animation, and I guess beyond itself, too, to be fair. Like, it's not that Beyond is bad, it's just that we've learned more, I guess, is the way to put it. So appreciation for all the extra little animation bits. And that was one hell of a speech from Jace. Just like, I stay quiet if I could just like, I don't want to interrupt any of this. I just want to hear what he has to say, get it fully off his chest. Like, as I said before, I'm a guy who doesn't shut up. So getting me to close my mouth is something of an accomplishment. Just shut up and listen to what's being said. Because, you know, if I'm shutting up, I'm listening. And, damn, that was one just... Jessica was being so supportive in this one, too. Just, like, being the shoulder to rely on. Clearly, Mimi needs more of that. I mean, she's got a wife, so good for her on that one. And I hope that the wife stays with her, because, again, you need someone to lean on when times are tough, obviously. And clearly that woman loves her to put up with her. I do not hope in the next episode we see them break up. No, Mimi does not deserve that. Just being a bitch doesn't deserve losing everything. Now, being a complete and utter asshole does, but I don't think Mimi is a complete and utter asshole. Like, and I say that like doing an actual literal crime. Mimi's just a bitch. But yeah, hopefully she can get the therapy she needs and get everything worked out. And yeah, who knows? Maybe there is a path to redemption for her. Maybe she'll. Maybe it'll be like JH season 1. She'll find God and then find, you know, a way back from all of this. It's possible, you know. The I found God route is a little cheesy, but hey, you know what? As long as you're a good person at the end of the day, does it really matter? Not really, because I'm not someone who's religious, but if you're a good person and happy and all that jazz, and you just believe in God and all that jazz, who cares? just be a good person. That's what really matters. Doesn't matter if you're Christian, Muslim, Jewish, any of that stuff. Just be a good person. That's what matters. I know Kote. But I don't think Jace would do the whole God thing again just because he did that in the last season, so that would feel a little copy-pasty. So probably he'd just find a therapist, which odds are would be Tiffany's mom there, which would probably cause some more issue. Just be like, oh, it's you again. Yes, and I want to help you, or something like that. Like, there could be a little drama there. So, yeah. I don't know. We'll see what happens, obviously, but this was one hell of an episode, Jace. Excellent work on this one. Just getting all the emotional feeling and all that just out in there. It's amazing how Tiffany even came off as a better person in the end. Just like, you're what started all this with your threat because as two people talk to each other, and now you're like, I'm going to be the voice of reason. I mean, everyone has a point of view, but it's also like, shut up. Like, you have the right to speak, but, don't. But who knows, maybe just seeing someone at their absolute worst will turn that around. Just be like, man, that's what I could become? I gotta apologize while I still can. It's not too late. And Phoebe, to be fair, would probably forgive her apology. Might take a little time, but I think Phoebe would accept that, obviously. But, yeah, that was one of the more emotional episodes, obviously. We've had so many... JH is one where just like, here's a guy doing a bad thing, we get the guy doing the bad thing, we suspend him for a while. Okay, see you next episode. And that's not a bad formula, but then you get those emotional episodes like this one and, frickin'... What was it? There was a frick. Either way, the one where... I'm blanking! Heather's backstory, I believe it was. Yes. When we found out about why she was being such a bitch to Carly the whole time, yeah. And that whole tragic backstory. Again, that's still one of my favorite moments of Jace, Jessica, and Friends. I almost said Jace Hubbard, but it's like, well, technically yes, but also no. It's just like, that stuck with me, of all that stuff. I may not remember the names clearly, but I remember the moments, so that counts for something. So yeah, excellent work by Jace Hubbard, and I hope that Mimi gets the help she needs, so she does deserve it at the end of the day to turn around, and maybe she can salvage this. I don't know. We'll see what happens. As long as she comes back and shows that she legitimately changed as a different person, she can still keep that snark and, again, a bit of that rude attitude when it's absolutely justified, and it's someone who, like, I don't know, did an actual crime. Of course they're going to need those people, but she's got to relax a little, obviously. And she can't use trauma as an excuse all the time. I'm the way I am because of my past. Okay. And? Why did you stay that way? Friggin' someone show her Sonic 3. Shadow was the same way until the end. Some people might not have watched it, so I don't know. Really, the only part of the episode that I had a problem with was, like, How did Mimi not know who the superintendent was? Like, I know that in some places you don't know your boss's boss and all that stuff, but it's like, really? You didn't know the superintendent? Your boss? But I guess, she was so lost in her rage and her temper tantrum and stuff like that, her mind just blanked and just saw another opponent she has to deal with. Especially after Tiffany and her mom kept saying Jace Hubbard over and over again. So, I guess you can explain it like that. It's just one of those where it's like, really? But, when you're in a temper tantrum, you're not thinking straight. Nitpick. Anyway, good episode, Jace. I'm glad I watched it. Excellent episode, really. And, yeah, excellent work. So, yeah. I don't have much else to say, just excellent work. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time. Later.